yo, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of doing this? Like, what is the purpose of doing this? Just for views? What's good, YouTube? This is KB LaFleur. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got a new trend on TikTok, right? We got a new trend that's taking over TikTok, man. Some stuff that I would never thought I would. Well, I take that back. I didn't see this coming, but I saw this coming, right? I saw this coming because, I mean, you see the direction TikTok is headed in. It's crazy. I don't see why people are trying to do this. I don't see why this is becoming a trend now. But before we get into that, man, do me a huge favor. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and leave me a subscribe. So a couple of days ago, I'm over here on my new TikTok, sitting over here trying to, expand my brand, expand my little KB LaFleur brand. And I'm looking and I see on my timeline, this is the first thing that popped up the second I opened up the app. And the first thing that I see is a woman breastfeeding her child, right? I'm saying, okay, I guess so. I mean, hey, I was dumbfounded, but then again, at the same time, it was like, I mean, I guess so, it's whatever. But I said, you know what? Let me go look at the woman's page. I was like, I'm like, okay, if they're doing this one time, I'm pretty sure they're probably doing this a lot. So I said, you know what? Let me look at her page. I look at her page and all she is doing is just breastfeeding. So I'm like, okay, yo. So TikTok is allowing this. TikTok is allowing women to just whip out a titty and show it to the world. That's all they're really doing. I mean, literally, that's all these women are doing, right? They sit here, create a whole video of a dang 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old sucking on a titty, right? And say normalize breastfeeding, because that's what it's called now, normalizing breastfeeding, right? Because at first I'm sitting here like, okay, man, this maybe it's just a one person thing, maybe she done found a loophole and being able to just put her titty up there. 2 days later, come back. I see the exact same thing with another woman. So I'm saying, oh, hold on, time out. I was like, whoa, time out. There's no way. There is no way. So I'm over here typing it in, seeing if this is an actual trend. So I said, you know what, go back to the video. Of course, she got a bunch of hashtags. I click on a hashtag. Man, there's a whole trend full of women sitting over here saying, hey, there's nothing wrong. It was mainly sisters that I was seeing. I was seeing a lot of sisters sitting up here doing this. And then I just go click on that and I'm just seeing everybody doing it. So I'm like, okay, so now it's a trend, right? So now we're putting our breast on the internet for other people to see. And we're trying to normalize that, right? So this trend, right? This trend started back in 2016, 2015, as far as I can remember, right? And the trend wasn't about being able to put your boob on the internet and have everybody see it and call it learning purposes. But people wanted to be able to breastfeed out in public breastfeeding without having to put a cover over the baby's head while the baby's breastfeeding. We have always known that common decency, right? Gotta have some common decency, right? If you're sitting over here in public, you gotta breastfeed your child. You take a towel, you always bring a towel, or you always bring a cover, and you throw it over the baby's head. Then you whip out your boob, and you go ahead and do what you gotta go do. That's how it's always been. When you go out to public restaurants, that's mainly where you always see it at, right? That's mainly where I used to see it at. I always saw it in public restaurants. When they bring babies, they will be able to breastfeed the babies. Understandable. So fast forward, now that America is becoming a bit more liberal, you see that women were saying, you know what, hey, I shouldn't have to breastfeed my child with the cover over the child's head. I should not have to do that, right? So women were outraged about that. So then you have a lot of women who started to say, you know what, hey, I don't like being policed. I don't like people telling me, I have to put a cover over my body while my child eat. Even though, man, that's just common courtesy. That's just what you do. That's what you have always done for years. You put a cover over your child's head as they breastfeed. So 2015, 2016, that's where you hear more at, right? So I have an article right here where it pretty much talks about it. So the article goes on to say, when I was a breastfeeding mother in the 1980s in Australia, there was no talk about breastfeeding discreetly. And I was shocked when I attended my first breastfeeding conference in the USA in 1991. Saw a fellow conference attendee cover her baby's face while breastfeeding at the lunch table. Since then, many products have been developed and marketed to enable women to feel breastfeeding can be acceptable while in the public sphere. The marketing strategy for one company is to advertise that their product eradicates any embarrassment issues for the mother and members of the public. Covering the breast during feeding has implications for maternal and infant health and well-being. So you mean to tell me covering your breast while you're breastfeeding is going to cause issues for the baby, right? So here's her reasoning. Here's her reasoning why she feels that way. So she goes on to say, in my clinical practice, I've seen a woman who developed mastitis. I know I'm butchering that name. But after feeding awkwardly because she was concealing her breast in a public setting. I feel saddened whenever I see this. Where is the eye contact and the reciprocal communication between mother and child? People, like what? That makes no sense, right? That makes no sense. Oh my gosh. I gotta make eye contact with the baby. Pretty much what she's saying is she gotta be able to make eye contact with the baby as the baby's sucking on the nipple. Like that, baby? Okay. But see, here's the thing, right? Once again, if you are in public, you need to cover up, right? Here is what I do not disagree with. I do not disagree with what this lady did in this situation.
Yeah, so if I'm in my own car, this is my property in my area, it's up to you whether you want to look into my car and look at...
That's okay. I got kids in the car, and all they see is your areolas, and it's just inappropriate. I don't care what you got going on in here. I need you to go breastfeeding somewhere in private. I don't know what you think this is. This is a public area.
But I'm in my private property, okay. My car.
That's all
so
right.
You can choose to tell your children to look somewhere else.
No.
Because we're in an outside world
let me tell you
where
how
there's
it's gonna
other
go.
things to look at.
Let me tell you how it's going to go, little missy. This is a public parking lot. I look where I want to look. If I
were to call the police right now, I'd say you're harassing me.
Oh, no, that's
I wouldn't be the one getting in trouble.
Call the police.
For harassment, for other people looking at me while I'm doing what I'm doing.
No, man. I fear God.
I agree with her. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. When you're sitting in the car, if you're in a fishbowl, people listen. If you're in a fishbowl and you're breastfeeding in the fishbowl, people are going to look in the car. Like, if y'all don't know what a fishbowl is pretty much having no tint on your windows. But if people walking by your car, man, and they see you have your titty out breastfeeding a kid, people are going to look. Now, I don't disagree with that chick. That's her car. If she wants to breastfeed, she's in her right to breastfeed in that car. Do your thing. Do your thing. I do not disagree with her in that. I also don't disagree when a woman is in public breastfeeding and she has a cover over her body. I don't disagree with that either. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. It's just when you are out in public, let's just say you go out into a bench, or if you are in a restaurant and you just whip your titty out and you just have a kid suck on it.
All right. So I got a call from a mom today. She's concerned about her son. Says he's been, quote, a bit mopey lately. She's wondering if you guys could put a smile on the little rascal's face. They're at 8501 West Tyson. Ow! Hey, no biting. Hey, no biting. Okay? You want me to bite you? Yeah. You know that hurts, Daddy. I told you, silly. No biting, okay? You're my good little baby, huh? Huh? Yeah.
These people are then going to be looking at you like, oh, you're a perv. Oh, why are you looking at me? You see me doing this, da. Well, I'm sorry, man, but you have your titty out. You're trying to tell a man not to look at a titty. Men love titties. Men love titties. So how can you then tell a man not to look at a titty when you have it all out? This is why people say it's just common courtesy. Just put a cover over your head. Put a cover over your baby's head while they are breastfeeding. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. But women don't want to sit over here and they don't want to hear that, right? They want to be able to sit over here and grab attention, because all this is it's attention seeking. That's all that is. It's a trend, right? It's a trend. They just want to have all eyes on them just so they could then cause a scene. Why are you looking at me? I should be able to have my titty out, blah, blah, blah. No, it don't work that way. Women want you to look away when they're breastfeeding. Women don't want you to sit over here and stare at them. But people, listen, if you have your titty out, men are going to stare. It's just innate. Men are going, anybody is going to look. Any man is going to look. Any person that has a swinging between their legs is going to look. You can't get upset because you have an opportunity to cover that up. You can avoid people looking at you by covering yourself up. But see, y'all don't want to do that. So y'all want to be able to sit up here, have your titty out, and then get upset when people look at you, right? There's a whole video of a dang chick sit up here, right? Here's the thing. A lot of you women now, because people sit up here and say, why are you sitting up here, man, breastfeeding on the internet? Women then make videos upset, responding, saying, it's mind your business.
Urban legend, club king, I'ma sing to you. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business.
And it made me realize I don't care anymore what anybody got.
Jesus Christ. Okay, all I'm gonna say to start off with is, hey, listen, you're welcome to do whatever the hell you want to do. As far as I know, she ain't breaking no laws or nothing, so okay. But why does this video need to be shared with us? And why so much breast as well? Like, I beg, anyone go on her page. Damn near every video is of her breast. Like, it's like she wants to show off her boobs, but the easy way to do it without getting judgment or people moving weird is to put her baby there. That's a bit strange. Like, me personally, I wouldn't want to even show my kid too much on social media because there are some strange people out here. And I'm sure there's some very strange people that will find this video and enjoy it in ways that I don't think you particularly want to happen, man. Like, it don't need to be a declaration of independence. Feed your child and move on, fam. Like, Jesus.
Mind your business. People, well, listen, when you put this stuff on TikTok, it is my business now, right? It is my business. So now I'm asking you, why are you putting this stuff on the internet? What was once discreet is now out for everything, out for everybody to see. There's a lot of things that just don't need to be put out in public. Let's just be real, people. There's just certain things that don't need to be put out in public. See, back in the day, back in the 60s, back in the time, man, where everybody had a certain level of respect for one another, you didn't sit up here, man, and have your titty out for everybody to see. Number one, because as a man, I wouldn't want nobody looking at my wife's nipple in the first place, right? That's number one. Number two, you don't want people to constantly be looking at you. When you breastfeed out in public, you just have your boob out and you don't have nothing covering it. You're just looking for attention. Right? And now they done made a whole trend out of it. And they then get upset and want to sit up here and say, mind your business. Well, since you put it out all on the internet, it's for everybody to see now. And they're trying to say normalize breastfeeding. People, they're trying to make it seem as if breastfeeding was an issue beforehand. Breastfeeding was never an issue. Breastfeeding was never an issue. But now people are trying to push a narrative that it's always been an issue. That, oh, well, you know, women are always been talked down to and looked upon crazy, because we have our titties out. We should be able to have our titties out and breastfeed in public because it's natural. It's life. Okay, and guess what? Even over here in the third world countries where people have kids and they're breastfeeding, they still cover them up. At the end of the day, they still cover them up. So what makes you think y'all are different? Y'all are not. Y'all are not. It's just that we're living in a world, man, where everybody's liberal, which means once again, people, you know shit is going downhill when good turns bad and bad turns good. You once covered yourself when you were breastfeeding. Now it's on TikTok and people are sitting over here breastfeeding. People, imagine walking down Walmart or Food Line or Harris Teeter and you see this. People, that make no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. That makes absolutely 0 sense. And then they will get upset with you for even looking. They will get upset with you for sitting over here looking. Like, of course, any man is going to sit over here and look at that as you keep walking. But women was then sit up here and make that an issue. They're doing that, man, for attention. They're doing that for attention. So when you stare for a little too long, then they're going to try to cuss you out. And then sit over here try to push their liberal BS on you. And then it's like you got to sit there and accept it. Oh, man, look, I'm sorry, but I mean, you can't put it out there. Why I can't put it out there? Why I can't put it out there? It's natural. It's nature. And it's like, man, come on, man. Come on. When guys got to fix themselves, they try to fix themselves to where nobody can see it. Why? Because it's just common decency. It's just common decency. You want to fix yourself when nobody's looking. So at first, when I was looking at all this stuff, I was like, man, here we go. But I knew this has become more of a trend and more of a view grab than of trying to normalize something that shouldn't even be normalized, because I mean, there was nothing wrong with it to begin with. Right? Now they're trying to make it an issue. They're turning it into an issue, right? I knew this shit was some BS when I saw this video.
Reverse.
People, she is breastfeeding a baby on a little RC truck for kids. People, like, do we not see how ignorant that is? To literally, you're literally just trying to get views. This has nothing to do with just this has nothing to do with normalizing breastfeeding. Women are now just trying to put their boobs on the internet so they can become famous. Right? This is just another version of an OnlyFans. This is all they are doing, right? This is just legal OnlyFans on TikTok. That's all that is. Putting your breasts all on the internet for other people to see. You know this is what people are going to see, and this is where the issue comes in, right? This is where the Senate wants to ban all of this stuff. You're sitting over here, man, putting your breasts all on the internet. People, y'all do understand what the algorithm, anybody can see that stuff. So kids get to see that stuff, right? Kids get to see that stuff. For the longest, people are upset with kids watching some of these sites. Oh, these sites be rotting kids' brains, right? We try to sit over here and ban these sites, but then we got this app up here who sits up here and have women breastfeed on the damn internet. You don't think kids are gonna see? You don't think kids are gonna look at that and kids aren't gonna be distracted by that? Hella kids gonna be saving. Do not be surprised when y'all start seeing a bunch of middle school kids having videos of women breastfeeding babies, right? It's weird. It is weird. That is something that you do behind closed doors. You don't need to put that stuff on the internet. There's just certain things that don't need to touch the internet, right? This is one of them. But this is what we're trying to push, right? This is what we're trying to push. This is what we are trying to accept. And the world is just showing, once again, it's just showing how America is every single day. Y'all ever been in a disagreement with somebody, right? And it's just a cordial disagreement. Y'all just talking. And that one person sits up here and say, why you getting mad? Why you getting angry? What you getting all tense for? And you sit over here like, I'm not getting mad or getting angry. But they keep saying that over and over and over to the point where you are actually getting mad now. And then they sit up here and say, well, you see what I'm talking about? You're mad. Brother, you got me to that point. It's the same thing with these people who are pushing this normal breastfeeding trend, right? It's the same thing with these people. They sit up here and they say, well, you know what? People have been looking at women who breastfeed all weird. The society looks down on women who breastfeed. The society, look at women who breastfeed crazy. That's never been the case. That's never been the case. Maybe if you are out and your whole titties out, yes, people are gonna look at you crazy. But outside of that, before this crappy trend happened, they never had an issue with that because they always had it covered. Now, these people are sitting up here, they're trying to push a false narrative. They're trying to push an argument that never existed until they made it, right? So then they sit up here, jump on the internet. Now that people are saying something about it, now it's, well, this is the reason why people are sitting, or this is the reason why single mothers or mothers or whatever who breastfeed, this is why we're putting it on the internet. This is why we're trying to normalize breastfeeding.
Yeah. Are you good at it?
Really? And that ain't no community violation? Well, I'm quite sure you're going to violate me for even stitching that video.
You're an artist. Yeah. Are you good at it?
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, you're on a public forum breastfeeding a 5-year-old kid. Shouldn't he already be sipping out of a sippy cup right about now?
I've just come across a video that I find very troubling. It's of a woman lying on her back and her toddler crawls onto her gets her boob out and starts feeding. This video had like a fair few million views, likes, saves, and I didn't even see what the big deal was with it until I looked in the comments. I saw comments like, oh, TikTok guidelines really be on holidays at the moment, or why is he playing with the other boob like that, skullface, or wow, people really be getting too comfortable on this app. This is why women who are breastfeeding find it so stressful feeding in public, when it really shouldn't be that stressful. It's natural. We're feeding our babies. Oh, it makes me mad. He's playing with the other one because that's how babies trigger a letdown. It's literally a natural thing that they do. If you're sexualizing a woman feeding her babies from her own body the way that we were designed to do it, some women don't, by choice or because they can't or whatever. Both are fine. Both are normal. Both are natural. If it was a video of a woman bottle feeding her baby, I doubt the video would even have more than 1,000 views. People really need to be educated. It's absolutely insane. This poor woman posted this video without a second thought about it because it's what she does every day. Her body nourishes her child. And she knows that there's nothing wrong with that. She didn't even second guess it. And now she's got all these comments making her feel like she's been doing something vulgar and disgusting. It's just sad. Educate yourselves, people.
Women are jumping on the internet. Women are jumping on TikTok, putting their boobs on TikTok just to get attention. That's all that is. Normalizing breastfeeding was never an issue. Breastfeeding was never an issue. But we have people like herself, they're trying to push a narrative that breastfeeding has never been normal when it has always been normal. It's just that we're not going to normalize people having a whole titty out in public around for other people to see. That's not going to slide for a lot of folks. That's just me though. People, cut this trend out. There should be no reason why a kid, man, is dang 4 years of age, 5 years of age, still sitting over here sucking on a nipple. Let's be real. There should be no reason why a kid is 5 years of age, 6 years of age, hell, even 3 years of age, sucking on a nipple. Let's be real, man. Come on, man. Get that man a sucky bottle. Get that little baby a sucky bottle or whatever. But y'all do me a huge favor, man. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, leave me a subscribe.
Why'd you do that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you hungry from your big day today? Gremlo Art Show is now live at GremloArtShow.com. Here, look at the winners. Like I said, they're all available now for purchase at GremloArtShow.com, but they're only up until Friday, November 10th, 2017.